Ion Cannon, August 24th, 2021. I have gotten a casting of my Ion Cannon ball and all of the kit parts. It is Rotocast. It is, it's built. You can build this thing in a day after you, research it for like 3 years. But in all seriousness, this is the best faith effort. This area in particular is very problematic to figure out what's going on right in the central section. So some of these parts I put down to get the same vibe from the blobs you see on screen. They're all from the same donor pools, so it's the spirit of it. I can't wait for better photography to show itself one day. So I'm gonna paint this guy. I'm gonna give him his base coat. There's only really 4, 5, 6. There's 6 parts, 6 pieces, sub-assemblies. I got there eventually. So yeah, there's only 6 sub-assemblies. The ball, the collet, whatever you want to call this thing, the sleeve, and then the barrel itself, and the 3 little flower petal guys. I'm going to paint them all gray, and we'll see how it ends up. If you look in the film, or screen grabs, it looks bluish gray, but the whole thing's color timed, I feel, incorrectly if you're watching the super duper special duper editions or whatever. It got really, really blue on Hoth. I don't think it was like that in the theatrical, but who knows, whatever. That's in my brain, I feel like it's not. The model miniature itself is a creamy gray. So I'm going to go a little warmer. Years and years, like 18 years ago, when I did a Snowspeeder Paintmaster, Cobra Commander, a Snowspeeder, I used XF19 Sky Gray, which is a nice creamy, warmer gray, and I cut it with white. And I think I did 2 parts white to 1 part gray, if I'm remembering correctly. And that was a nice base for Hoth Rebel gear, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion. I'm wrong, I'm sure. But this is where I'm going for now. So everybody always asks, what kind of color did you use, blah, blah, blah. And I always say that I mix it, because that's what I do. So I'm going to mix it, and it's really, this particular recipe is super duper simple. Until I tweak it, which I may do. So I'm going to mix the paint, and it's completely boring, but a couple of you guys wanted to see it, so why not? Alright, so here we go. Okay, so put the model parts aside for a second. I have 4 empty jars. That's where the paint will go. I have a solo cup. That's where the main mixing will happen. I have 2 flat whites, and I have XF19 Sky Gray. I've got some Reefer White that I'm going to look at as sort of a base for a much yellower, brighter white, and I might actually mist the ball with that for some highlights. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. And then Mr. Color Self-Leveling Thinner. You can use isopropyl alcohol. I like 91%. But this just thins it for airbrushing. And if you use this stuff, you get a creamier, more enamel-like behavior to the paint. And I think it atomizes more cleanly. Or did I bring... No, that's the Reefer. Okay. Alright, so all you do, basically, is pour some paint in, and there's always a little sludge at the bottom if it's been sitting for a while, and that's where I give myself the opportunity to pour in some of the thinner and give my jar a nice healthy shake. And then I pour that into the cup, and then this will get washed out in the sink and become a empty donor for later. Alright, so we'll add in 2 whites, and then we'll mix it, and we'll see what's up. Very, very fun. Hope you're all doing well during the pandemic. Anything exciting going on? Yeah, here neither. It really was nice to go visit some friends and have our little guys' weekend. Well timed considering what's going on right now. God, these are some low-ass paints. All right. And mixed and dumped. Well, there's still some sludge in these. So I'm going to get, I think these guys are older tubs. I think these guys are older jars. Anyway, little stir sticks just to promote the paint leaving the jar here. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Whatever. Okie dokie. Ah, fuck. Yes. It's my hands in action. My hands in action. Whatever you want to call it. So I'll cover that up. I have this Badger Airbrush Company paint mixer. Super fun. It's like an immersion blender, but for paint. Yeah, and I don't know whether it's because those whites had less paint in them, but I'm getting a very dark gray. So I am going to make the decision to get some more white in this mix. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when someone asked me, like, what paint did you use? And I'm like, look, even if I have my own, that's a much more full jar. That's good. Even if I have my own, like, recipe in my head, as you can see, it's being tweaked on the fly. And I know this isn't for everyone. I know a lot of you like to buy the specifically made paints for these, and that is great. That's actually a pretty fantastic product, and if I didn't have the background in fine art or the background in color theory, I guess more importantly, and if I didn't find this super fun, I would totally be buying a pre-made paint. So that's a much lighter gray than it was before, but I'm still going to go lighter. See, this is how I end up with like 8 jars of one dumb color. The good news is it's gray, and I can use gray on anything. In fact, I had some grays ready to go that I thought were fine enough, but I wanted to illustrate this process for y'all. Alright, so I think this will get us there. So yeah, it's a very warm gray. I'd say it's like a 30%. There is a smidge of blue in it, I think. It's a weird color. But like I said, this color is basically going to be almost like a pre-shade, I think, because what I'm going to do is paint the whole thing, and then I will hit the panels with a lighter grayish white to bring up the highlights, just so it reads better, to the eye. So this is pre-thinned, ready to go. Another stirring stick. Okay, and then I'm just a little paint factory for a couple minutes, filling shit up. We got 1. We got 2. 3. Whoa, that one's high. God damn it. I do that every time. 4. And then there's enough for a friend. And actually, since I'm going to go ahead and paint this thing, I'm going to decant the rest of this into one of the jars that gets cleaned out. And there's even still, there's a smidge more. Yeah. So I ended up making 5, whatever. So these will get labeled. I have a Dymo label printer specifically for this and for custom spice mixes in the kitchen. And it has saved my life because you can tell yourself, I'll remember what color I used or what this is or what this was for. You're not. You never do. You think you're gonna, but you don't. All right, this one's over full. I'm going to start with that for a minute or two and then switch to this. And that's my story. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, you are empty, so these get cleaned. This is trash. This is reefer white. It's the thinner. Let me clean that off. And now we're ready to go. Bum, 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 bum. And this cutting mat has just about had it. I go through a... Well, fuck. I just sprayed myself with paint. Motherfucker. Did I hit my glasses? I did. Alright, the good news is... I swear to Christ, guys, my hands are fucked. The good news is that this is very easy to get off of things like glass rims before it dries. Even after it dries, it kind of just pops off. Okay, so my glasses are fine. I'm sure my face is spotted, but that can wait. Okay, so I've shown you what to do and what not to do. Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna paint. Okay, painted with the base coat, all the little parts. This guy, hello, this guy, and the 3 hatch pedal things. So, as you can see, it's kind of a creamy, light gray. Looking at the original, there's some tan over it, and looking at screen caps and quickly checking the film, I think the tan is intentional. I don't think it's from like color shifting under UV light from age. I mean, that could have happened some, but I think there's a little bit of a tan going on with the weathering. So I'm gonna have to ruminate on that a little bit. Let this dry. I usually let it dry overnight before I start going in and doing stuff. There's a couple different ways to attack this. I think because of all of this detail and these panels, I think I might do a light weathering pass and then come back in, like essentially pre-shade it, and then come back in and hit some of these panels, to bring them back, and then overall do the final weathering and streaking and stuff. So we'll see. I might also idealize it a little bit, just so it reads a little nicer close up in person. A lot of these things were made for filming and didn't have to stand up to someone, scrutinizing it from 3 inches away. So that's it for now. And actually, I did find a couple goobers that I'm going to have to hit with putty real quick. Not a big deal. But base coat's down. That's the foundation. That's where we go from here. It's light. It's going to get dark. It's going to get dirty. It's going to look awesome. So we'll see you next time.